Hello, everybody. It is great to be here one more time today. And my name is Gary Fowler, and I am the host of GSD Presents Silicon Valley AI and Tech. I'm a 17-time serial entrepreneur with several unicorns under the belt. I was under the original management team at Click Software, which was sold to Salesforce for $1.35 billion, and also Yva.ai. We love artificial intelligence and quantum computing. We love making an impact on the world. And with that, I'd like to talk about my incredible guest today, Tariq Dag Khan. He's got the longest CV I've ever seen in my life. I went on LinkedIn. It was 18 pages long. So he's got a lot of stuff to tell us. I mean, he's working on deals. He's a good guy, and he's got quite a background in terms of sports. So with that, I'd like to bring Tariq on. Hi, Tariq. How are you doing today?
Hey, Gary. How are you? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
I think I just lost you there for a second.
Yep. No, we hear you perfectly. Can you hear us?
Did I lose you?
Can you hear us? Can you hear us?
Did I lose you there? That was a well-timed intro.
Yeah. Well, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I could hear you. It was the classic Bill Gates shut down live on stage, right?
I thought this was like Verizon. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I could hear. Yeah. It's funny. No, actually, I saw in 1997. I was out in San Francisco, and I was at one of these tech get-togethers, and Steve Ballmer had just come taken over, and he's quite a showman on stage, right? And everything went dark on him too. So it happens to everybody.
Well,
even the proteges.
It happens, right?
Yeah, it definitely does happen. So, well, thanks for the introduction, Gary. I'm humbled and honored to be here, and great to meet you recently. Actually, it was in Wellington. Watching Saeed. Did you break up again? I think I lost you again.
No, I'm here.
If that's me or you.
Can you hear me now?
Are you there again?
I'm here.
Yeah. Did you hear me or?
Yeah, I hear you completely.
Okay.
Yeah, I hear everything.
No, so sorry. The screen froze. So if it freezes, that means it's my issue, and I'll just keep talking.
Keep talking. So,
all right.
So you have, you've got 15 years worth of C-level management experience. 10 years worth of M&A experience. You've got 5 startups, 4 exits, an IPO, Boro, Nimbus, Marquee, Stepstone, Firefly. So you've gone down through. So how in the world, now, the important thing is, how did you become an Eagle Scout?
An Eagle Scout?
Yeah.
Well, that was an important part of my life, actually. I think when I moved to the States, that's a long story. Maybe I'll back up there. So I was actually born in London and lived there for about a year. And then we moved to Africa when I was a boy. I lived there till about 3. My first father passed. And then we moved to Scandinavia. My mother's Swedish. My father's Ugandan Kashmiri. And my mother married an American guy who was a doctor, a Jewish man. And so I went from, the camel jockey, Swedish man, boy rather, to being adopted by a wonderful professor and a superhuman being, Dr. Steinberg, and we moved to America. And so he was big into the outdoors, and we did a sabbatical one year where he taught UCSD from University of Virginia, and we camped out across all the southern states, and that really just triggered me. I loved Boy Scouts from that point forward. We did 3 months of camping on the way to the sabbatical, from the East Coast to the West Coast. And on the way home the next summer, did the same thing across the northern national parks. So hats off to my mom for, putting up with us and the dog in a car for 3 months times 2. But that really got me hooked on the outdoors. And that's how I became an Eagle Scout. That's where my thirst became.
Well, he sounds like he was a nice guy, Tariq.
He was a fantastic man. Big influence on me. America was a big influence on me. And every startup I've been part of and the people in it have been an equally big influence on me, if I'm honest. So the journey through, I guess, a career that's kind of seen those 3 phases you highlighted, starting off as kind of an advisor when, ironically, I was so young I didn't know anything about anything, but yet I was an advisor in M&A. And then moving from that into being an operator where you take the reins and have accountability for the outcomes, which I think is a remarkable opportunity for any person. And then the last phase, I guess the third phase of my career has really been as an investor. And I think where I am today is kind of the exciting triumvirate of being all three in one, right? So being an advisor, being an operator, and being an investor. And I'm actually, we talked about it just briefly before we came on. I hadn't thought about it when I was preparing for this, meaning when, when I got the caption for what we're talking about. And I'm actually in my second unicorn now, but it's a different route to getting there. It's in the real estate space. It's in the management of real estate assets, residential real estate assets. And it's in the management of the exterior of the home. So it's not inside the home. So if you think about property management being inside the home, we manage everything outside within the community. And it's a long cycle proof point industry, real estate. And it's also the reason why the real estate sector has been so slow to evolve, one of the reasons it's been slow to reinvent itself is because it's long cycle proof points, which cost a lot of money to prove out to win any share, right? And so the way to grow in those spaces is acquisitively, if you can find the right thesis and the right road in. And so I'm actually in the Mid-Atlantic right now. I don't want to reveal where I am per se, only because I'm here doing DD for our third acquisition in the last 12 months, which is going to add about $500 million, a little bit more probably, to our EV for this startup called Odevo, Odevo. And we're based out of Stockholm, headquartered out of Stockholm, although I'm based in London, and spend a bit of time in the US now to pull off these deals we've done. So this will be the third one. The first two were one in Florida, one in Texas. So very exciting. Thanks for having me here.
Yeah, no, I lived in London too, but I don't know about you. I lived over in South Sussex Mews by Paddington Station. And it was kind of...
Yeah, it's freezing up for me, Gary.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. It freezes up, so that's why I kept talking before, because I figure, you know what, maybe it'll unfreeze by the time. I was just trying to buy some time till I see some more animation in your screenshot.
It's perfect for me, Tariq. I don't see any problem.
Good.
It's like perfect. It's nothing's freezing. Maybe the connection there is slow.
It could be. I'm running it off my phone.
Oh, that's probably it.
Yeah, I'm running it off my phone here. I just got in here late last night from Orlando and didn't have a chance to get everything set up, so I can't keep track of where I am.
It's probably the bandwidth. Anyhow,
yeah.
So as you're going down through the process, so I want to go back to this thing, because it's important. When did you decide to become an Eagle Scout? Because there's a lot of work.
I gotta wait for you to get reanimated here.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you now. So what were you going to say?
I'll tell you what. Tell me a little bit about, so what are you looking at today? What really makes you excited about a company?
Well, I mean, the things that kind of generate enthusiasm within me and really energize me are today, especially the things that you talk about, AI and data and the intersection of those two. And I think, that one of the companies I'm helping called Level 42 AI, which is basically bringing to life Tesla's harmonic resonance thesis is truly exciting, because it deals in creating and reinventing marketplaces that dramatically do good for the world. And I know that sounds hyper virtuous and perhaps implausible, but those things matter a great deal to me. So at this stage of my life, I think to the extent you can give something back and do truly meaningful good, I'd love to be a part of that. And so in addition to Odevo, they allow me a few sideline projects, and one of them is Level 42 AI, which was founded by a fellow who used to run data sciences group for Bill Gates and Melinda Gates Foundation for 7 years. And so what excites me about that business is that he's looking at ways to dramatically reduce cost in the medical screening and analytics space by being able to listen to the sound your body makes and interpret whether or not you have an illness against disease category 1 through N. And we're starting with disease category 0, which is the COVID. as an example. And so we now have a 95% hit rate on being able to assess whether or not in 20 seconds you have COVID. We've accidentally kind of uncovered that we can hear cancer in lungs. And so we're taking the next 3 categories of the top 10 of human affliction and disease, and we're starting to navigate through those. So I guess to answer your question I gave you a very specific answer about one specific company that excites me, but beyond that, at kind of 50,000 feet, when I look at companies, I look at 3 things. I look at, the size of the market and how you look at that size of the market. I look at the momentum that you can create to navigate or penetrate that market. And I also look at kind of the mindset of the folks behind it. So, is there a passion? Is there a persistence? Is there a persuasiveness that's going to move me emotionally or financially or all of the above? Because you kind of need all those 3 lanes to be working in concert to pull something off. In terms of the market itself, there's incrementalism. And I'll give you a story. So when I was in Orlando yesterday meeting with the CEO of this business, I bought some gum because I didn't want my breath to be unappealing because I've been flying and drinking coffee. And so I don't usually chew gum. So I bought some gum called Simply Gum. And it looked nice. It looked like it was going to be recyclable. And so I was in the meeting and I had some gum and I offered them some. And then I finished with the gum. And I noticed that there's a piece of paper inside the gum package to put the gum. And I was like, wow. And one of the CEO's colleagues said, a better mousetrap. And I thought about that this morning in the shower. Yes, it is a better mousetrap, but it's an incrementalism. It doesn't move or reinvent a space. And so when I look at markets, eBay is a great example of creating entirely new marketplace that didn't exist before. That Pez dispenser that, a 16-year-old might own in Oslo could be sold to someone in Ohio. And so eBay is an example of a unicorn opportunity because it creates entirely new marketplaces. And I think, I've never liked the term disruption. I've always liked the term reinvention. And so when I think about, my career, what I've really done in the last 20 years is I've gone through, if you think about the world being broken into 20 sectors, and each sector gets kind of reinvented, sometimes in groupings, but they get reinvented and you get to the bottom eventually over 20 years. And so, I went to 50,000 feet between each startup, and I kind of looked at where the tailwinds were the strongest. And macro events have an impact. Technology shifts certainly have an impact. The combination of the two, that's great, tick, tick. But you look at the sectors that can be reinvented, and that's where you can parachute in and have an impact. And so when I look at the market, where do you have reinvention capability as a result of technology shifts? That's really the exciting things. That's one of the exciting things I look for. And it's got to be at least $1 billion of market value to have the ability for it to be a unicorn, because everyone's got to get their vig out, right? You have your seed guys who need their expected return, then the VC guys come in, they need their expected return, the PE guys need their expected return, and then you go public, and who knows what they need, but certainly they're leaking into greed when they do need. So those 3 things matter to me when I look at an opportunity, the market, the movement into that market, and then kind of the mindset.
What do you think about ChatGPT?
I think it has kind of this titillating, it makes me a little nervous and it makes me excited at the same time. And I think having both edges of the sword there, I actually had dinner last night, had Valentine's dinner last night with the banker and his wife. And I was the third wheel. And we talked about this. Mm-hmm. And both of them, the father looked at me and he said, if we didn't already have kids, we'd be worried about having kids. And I said, why is that? He said, because the world is so uncertain today. The intelligence that is going to be at every toaster level appliance in your home will be leaps and frogs higher than everything in the house. So who's running your life? Who's making decisions for your life? And how do you feel about that? And so he felt it was a very unnerving prospect. I guess part of that's not understanding enough about it. And I think I'm in that camp too. I'd like to understand more. And I know you have a great capacity for that space because you're one of the pioneers in it. So this is where I need to have a podcast with you so I can learn about it.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting. One of my
But
friends told me, can you
yeah,
hear me?
you've frozen up again.
Can you hear me
The
now?
AI is taking over here on my side. It's
I think
I'll wait for you to come back. There you go.
Okay, I think it's just a communications challenge. That's okay.
Yeah.
So my friend wrote a book in 1 hour, 146 pages on ChatGPT.
Wow.
So he did it and published it on Amazon.
Wow.
And the total from the concept to the point that he actually published it was 10 days.
You know what? I might have to enlist myself there. I'm writing a book for my daughter. It's about what she needs to know about boys.
Mm-hmm.
And chapter 1 is if the guy ever lies to you about anything, he's out.
Yeah, there you go.
Chapter 2, if his name ends in a vowel, he's out. So my Italian friends, my Argentine friends don't like that too much, but maybe I can get some help with with the ChatGPT on that book, because I've been taking my time to bring that to my daughter who's 14, and I think I might need to get it to her soon. I probably need some help on that.
So tell me a little bit about, so you're really into sports. You're into writing, skiing, tennis, polo, golf. What made you so interested in sports? Squash, surfing, how did you do that? Safaris?
Yeah. Horseback safaris. So I think, if you the real truth here is an escape from reality, right? So I mean, I'm not going into the metaverse just yet, but I've gone into the universe of athletic pursuit and adventure travel because it just energizes me. It makes me feel alive, but it also has been a great escape, healthy, great escape. And so that's the honest truth. And I can only see that now as I'm a bit older in years, and I can see that now. But it hasn't stopped me embracing it. And I think when and if I have to resign from that physical joy that I have in playing all these sports. I mean, tennis right now, I'm playing a lot of tennis. I just love tennis. And it's always been a deep part of me.
Are you a good tennis player, Tariq?
I'm getting better. I think I'm getting better. My coach is, I play with a coach when I'm in London, and he arranges all the court and stuff. So it's easy. I just turnkey show up and I just hit balls. And now I'm actually playing points with them. So it's just so much fun, Gary, because you can see yourself improving. And if you're teachable, if you are kind of a team player, and if you're tireless in pursuit of anything, I think you just get up the curve. And I think, of course, you have to have some modicum of competence, I think, athletically. But also, that's not really true. I mean, in golf and in tennis, you can still get there even if you aren't a real athlete, I think. So I'm okay. I mean, do you play?
Yeah, I played. I actually took lessons for a year, actually, almost every day. So
okay, well, let's play. I'd love to play.
Yeah, that sounds good. I look forward to it.
I'll be down in Palm Beach. I'm coming back. I'll be down there on Friday.
Well, there's a lot of stuff going on. I have to talk to you offline. There's a lot of things going on that I want to talk about and share with you. So let's go down through. I want to go down through. So, I mean, you got an incredible background, all these companies. So what's the one thing that you found in a startup, Tariq, that's really important to have? What quality in each one of those, whether it's Nimbus or Marquee or Stepstone, what is the quality?
What's the most important thing? Or the most important things?
Yeah.
I would say, the single most important thing for me is what I call DCI, and that's deep customer insight. And I think a lot of folks speculate and they talk in echo chambers around, what does the consumer want, or what does the market want? And they ask all these hypothetical questions in a room with a bunch of guys in suits, and now it's a bunch of guys with skateboards, frisbees, and dogs. But they're asking all these questions to each other when they should be talking to their clients. And so DCI for me is the absolute most important thing in any startup. That is, how well do you know your customer? How well do you know what they want, what they need? All the questions, all the answers are right there. And you just got to figure out the right way to access that feedback, to do it with the right level of cadence and the right sort of feedback to them so that they feel they're part of the process. It's always been said that the three things that make a business successful are strategy, team, and execution. The strategy is hard. The team is harder, and I guess the execution is the hardest. But in the center there, the team part is probably the most important, because it can help obviously navigate the strategy issue and help mitigate the risks and increase the potential upside outcomes on execution. But those things are really kind of the most important thing. It sounds obvious, I know, but a lot of the important things in life are obvious, right? Be faithful, be optimistic, be humble, be grateful, right? Those are obvious, but a lot of folks forget that.
Yeah, and believe in your dreams.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, 100%. I mean, I think, I actually wrote a poem about that recently, about dreams. I can't remember it right now, but it had something to do with, the idea that you have to dream always and forever. Because if you don't, I don't know, if you don't, it's a part of you lost. So my namesake is Dag Hammarskjöld, my middle name, after my Swedish side, my mother's Swedish side. And Dag Hammarskjöld was Secretary General of the UN, Nobel Peace Prize winner, remarkable man. But he wrote a poem called The Longest Journey, and it was all about the journey inward. And I remember I put it in as a 16-year-old boy, I put it in my yearbook in high school. And I just loved it, but I didn't really understand what it meant as much as I do now as I've moved further down my journey. And so, going back to level 42 AI and going back to, what energizes me, the ability to continue that journey in a way that benefits others is really important. Benefits myself is a byproduct of benefiting others. And so I guess it gets onto the meaning of life, which is others in your life. At least that's my perspective now.
Yeah, no, that's true. I mean,
I'm closer to the grave than I am from the beginning.
Well, the thing is, hope is important, isn't it, Tariq? Hope.
Yeah.
Sometimes we don't believe in things. I spent when my father got sick and I went in, I remember the life instinct. I'm a psychologist too. And one of the things I talked about is life instinct. And I remember with my dad, it was about hope. And I bought him a little puppy, a baby, young basset. And she was 8 weeks old. And my father's eyes lit up. And I understood that you could be close to death, but when you have hope, everything changes. My father lived 3 more years after that. They said he would never walk and talk again. We walked and talked. I built a remote patient monitoring system for him, and we got him through. But hope is really important. And sometimes, you look at it, that life instinct, wanting to live, wanting to do something, accomplish something. It's like a burning desire inside of your chest that makes you want to go out and do something extraordinary. And the reason I went back to the Eagle Scout is because as an Eagle Scout, you have to have that hope too, right? You went around, you had an amazing experience with your stepfather, and he taught you what it's like he taught you what a dad's really like, right? How somebody can feel in and care about you. Those kind of things are important, and they really shape who you are. You're right about, your values are really close to the Eagle Scout values, aren't they? I mean,
they are. Yeah.
So, because I remember when I was in the Boy Scouts, never went to be an Eagle Scout. I wasn't focused enough in that direction. I was focused on other things. But I was amazing seeing the people. I remember that was honored. There's more Eagle Scouts in military positions, right? They accomplish the very highest levels of everything because they have hope, because they focus, because they visualize. It's amazing.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to wait for you to come back here, Gary. I'm really sorry. I feel I let you down with my preparation on the Wi-Fi side.
Can you hear me now?
I got you now. Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay. Listen, we got 4 minutes left. So summary, and then how do people reach you?
Summary is on the topic of finding unicorns. I think really the answer is the shadow. Our boy Elon. That's the answer. You want to find the next unicorn, you got to shadow Elon, right? And people can find me on I guess I'm on Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter, and and I'm on LinkedIn. Yeah. So it's just
Yeah.
Tariq Dag Khan. Yeah. It's probably the best way. Yeah, but I look forward to seeing you this weekend.
Yes,
I'll be down in Florida, so hopefully we can find some time to maybe hit a tennis ball or go watch some polo.
Yeah, that
I
sounds
think
good.
Freddie's playing, so it'd be fun to see you down there as well. I leave here on Friday, and we'll be back down there. So
sounds good. Sounds good. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah, I
All
was
right.
buying some time there.
Okay. All right, my friend. Take care
All
of
right.
everybody here. Thank you for joining one more time. GSD presents Silicon Valley AI and Tech, and I'm your host, Gary Fowler. Stay happy, stay safe, and stay healthy. God bless, and talk to you soon. We'll be back again with another exciting edition next week. Thank you.